Welcome to this episode of Your Property Business, the video podcasts that help you get the most out of your own property business. I'm curious about, given your kind of upbringing around building sites and hands-on tools, how much of refurbishment work did you get involved in when you were doing it in the UK first of all? Did you get involved in the UK hands-on or not?
Yeah, no, because I think because of my role, I was like managing contracts, suppliers, subcontractors. It set with me quite well in terms of the skill set to manage a program, manage a build, and understand supply chain and understand the right builder for the right job. And one thing I had to really unlearn is this contract management thing, because I was very commercially minded and in a culture where I was, in corporate world, it's very aggressive. So I was a subcontractor to someone who was just subby bashing me, and the only way you make it work is you subby bash and it's just very unhealthy way of contract managing. And then the first, I think my first spec I put together, it was like 40-page spec. I was very proud of it. It was just a waterproof contract and stuff. And I was very proud of myself, and I showed it to Martin Rapley at the time, and he was laughing. Said, you don't understand. The builder is sitting on his kitchen table looking at this on a Sunday evening, with his missus, cooking Sunday roast and with EastEnders on the TV. You can't. So he helped me with unlearning certain things and be a bit more practical. But then, I guess if you're getting into refurbs, what I would say is my rule was always you want to find a builder where I like the main contractor route rather than managing the trades. You're a property investor, you're not a project manager. Even though I could do it, it's just
that was what I was thinking, because the temptation, because you can, doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And I just wondered where you fell on that.
Because I know because I know from this past work, what it is to actually be the foreman, and or managing a subcontractor, and one is a lot easier than the other. Be the foreman, and then you deal with everybody's little, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, so you got involved, but maybe less so from the hands-on tools perspective. But you were contract managing.
Yeah, once I unlearn and learn the good balance, I think I would invest a lot upfront into specifying things very clearly and simply, and specifying things properly, and then managing the builder. So as a rule, I would say I would look for I would do like a pre-build procurement process anyway. So even though I don't have a project, I would procure builders. So based on, I will send out questionnaires. What are your turnovers, number of staff, fixed and fixed staff, permanent staff, and then trades you put in for other things, and understanding what's the biggest size of projects you did in the last 12, 18 months. And you want that your project be a slight stretch for them, and you kind of work with them, to help them grow in that way. And because it's a slight stretch, you'll have the best value for money, where you don't pay overheads for too big of a company, where there's going to be you're going to pay for the main office, you're going to pay for people at reception, you're going to pay for all these things, So so it was the good balance, and then by having someone where it's a bit of a stretch for them, that the owner is on site and it's his main focus, so you get the best value for money and commitment for money. So that's
okay. So we've kind of explored your career background, and I think I got the sense there was some dissatisfaction there about choose a life by design, not by default, and then this maybe wasn't working in the way you wanted it to. Property was always something you've done. But taking it seriously, especially in the UK, because of the you can pay interest-only mortgages, and that sounds great. And then you're starting to refurb properties. So tell me, what was your frustration? How did you get to where we are now? So that all sounds fine, but
it's kind of, we kind of like fast forwarded a little bit to the refurb, because the reality is that when I had my aha moment, and it's like momentum investing and all these things. then I did what most people do, so you go on Rightmove and then you randomly book viewings, based on the pictures, the layout, and then you start to go, and you start to waste your time at viewings. You come to places where the vendor is not motivated. You queue at viewings, or they're taking offers on the clipboard. I've seen viewings where they had clipboards of like 20 names, and I was like, I walk off the door, they strike my name, and then someone else come in, and it's like, okay, this is a waste of time. There's no way.
Is this all while you're at work? So you've got a job, you're doing your job, and you are still, so your time constrained, right? Your time isn't something you have a lot of because you're doing a full-time job.
Yeah, that was 2018. So typically, you do, once you start to look at YouTube videos, then your Facebook becomes really clever at sending you links to come to some seminars and stuff. So I got into some people's funnels and I bought a couple of courses at the beginning, 2018, and I don't regret. They've been quite good. It was quite good, and for the networking, etc. And but then the problem is that I would wake up super early, like before work, to go through like the online education and things like that. And to to get up to speed with things, and then during work, I'll find some time, like lunch or between meetings and things like that. I was quite flexible, I could do a bit what I wanted, but find some time to book the viewings, and then I would just stack them, on the weekends, stack them on the Saturdays, and then week after week, I would randomly book viewings based on the Rightmove feed, stack them on the weekend, only to show up at viewings where the vendors are not motivated. There's never going to be a deal to be done there. Property might look great, location is great, and then the price, nothing stacks. Anyway, people tell me, nothing stacks, but nothing ever stacks. When
you've got a set of criteria that will, by the sound of things, that you've sort of set your limit, and you know what you'll buy and what you won't buy.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're being fairly ruthless with that decision point. I will buy at this level, or I won't buy at this level. If it returns this, I'll do it. If it doesn't return this, I won't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's at the end, it's what people should do. You wouldn't buy because you like it, or that's a nice property. I'll add it to my portfolio. Does it make money? I don't know. I like it. So you probably want to buy it. And again, it's going back to this thing we talked about, where you want to have control about the return you get. And you do this, you make money when you buy, and when you add value, because you've got an angle where you can make, change this in the layout or change the use or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I actually spent the first sort of 18 months on me being interested in the UK property, achieving nothing. So every week I would be, every week I would turn up at viewings, waste my time, and then delaying whatever progress I was trying to achieve by another week. And I had just the same thing, So, and then I realized, okay, because I could only do 5-6 viewing a week, I was getting less lucky than others who could do maybe 20. So it's like, what's the difference between my friend and peers that are getting some traction and me? And then I'm a bit geeky with numbers, so we looked at how many viewings, how many offers, and things like that at the time. I was like, okay, I'm doing all the right thing, but it's just not targeted enough. Targeted enough because you guys are actually creating more luck, because you can do 3-4 times more viewings, and then therefore you are 3-4 times more lucky. So how could I go straight to those viewings where the vendor is going to be motivated? So, and this is where my best man and best friend, we sort of got together, because we were basically was working for Jaguar Land Rover in Slovakia at the time. Same thing, getting money in pound. I was like, oh, what are you doing with this pound? The pound to euro thing is quite low, so come and do some stuff with me. And then we asked his brother to do a bit of coding for us, so we qualified the viewings we were going to do. So we only go and look at viewings where the vendor is motivated, basically. And at the time, it was a very ugly, clunky software that only I could use, or us could use, and then it was day and night. So after 18 months achieving very little in property, in the following 18 months, basically, I was full time in property, replaced my income, etc. All these things.
Okay.
And people started to ask questions, and this internal tool that it was a little secret, we didn't tell anybody. It was called Le Software. It didn't. We were just talking about it within us.
Yeah.
Between us, and then people were asking about it, and then we started to give it out as beta testers and things like that. And you fast forward a couple of years, and there's now 800 of us using this every day to find deals.